Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And Administrator Shea, I am thrilled that you're here, and I have additional questions about the avian flu. And my question is, and I so much appreciate your answers to Mr. Kelly. I just have a couple of additional questions about that. For example, so in Indiana, obviously we're in the Midwest, we had a brief skirting of this with only 77 birds destroyed, but certainly in my district in northern Indiana, where we have a large amount of poultry providers and egg production, I've got worried constituents. And what you were talking about just a second ago with biosecurity, depopulating very, very rapidly and things like that, in some cases it took 2 weeks to put down all those birds. And then the big question, and we were embroiled in that conversation about the question of then what? What are they going to do with all these birds, and how are they going to disintegrate them, or what's going to happen? So you're alluding to all of that. So when you looked at these states that were wiped out, did you look at states like Indiana as well that had these skirmishes, and when you're looking at setting policy, are you going to include states like Indiana, these professional growers as well, since we've already dealt with that? A lot of stress in my district about what happens in spring with these migratory populations. Could you speak to that?
Sure. I think that every state's pretty much in the same boat. As was mentioned earlier, I think we're all in this together, and every state needs to have pretty much the same approach to it, no matter what kind of poultry you have or how large your poultry industry is. We all are in this thing together. So we definitely have looked at how it can work in every state. One of the things we did to plan for the fall was ask every state to tell us the state of their readiness for an outbreak in the fall, and each one did that. And I think many are in very good shape. Others learned through this survey that we sent them that they need to do more. Certainly, Indiana has a very vigorous and robust animal health operation with Dr. Marsh for many years.
Incredible job, by the way.
Right. And so I'm pretty confident that Indiana would be prepared better than maybe than some other states would be should there be an outbreak.
I appreciate that, and I agree. Do you feel APHIS has the authority to do what it needs, or do you feel Congress needs to make legislative changes?
I think we have the authority we need, and also kind of getting back to something that was mentioned earlier, much of the regulatory action that takes place in a program like this is really under state power. State imposes the quarantine, state actually issues depopulation orders. So we have to work hand in hand with states on these programs.
I appreciate your efforts as well. I yield back, Mr. Chairman.